Guten Tag alle, Herr Wallace hier. Vor kurzem in meiner Klasse haben wir ein bisschen über den Imperativ gesprochen und deswegen dachte ich, dass es wahrscheinlich eine gute Idee wäre, wenn ich ein Video über dieses Thema auch mache. Hello everyone, Herr Wallace here. A short time ago in my German 1 class we talked about the imperative, and so I thought it would be a good idea for me to create a video about it. The imperative is just a fancy way of saying the command form of the verb. You know, we give commands in English. We say go here or learn that or dance. And there are ways of doing that in German too, and that only used with the second person singular of both the singular and plural forms. So for when you're addressing someone else and it's a person you're using the informal with, someone you know well or friend, or it can be a person you're addressing and you want to be a little bit more polite or more formal. Ihr is for addressing a group of people, and then sometimes in English we accomplish the first person plural by saying let's go or let's have a drink. In German they also do this, and there's a couple different ways they can do that, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to take these one section at a time so that you can see how they act. The basic form of the imperative is to take the second person singular present tense conjugation of the verb, or the do conjugation of the verb, like du lernst. We're going to drop the st off of it, and we're going to get the imperative form of the verb. So, for example, learn German becomes lern Deutsch, or sing for me, sing für mich, dance faster, tanz schneller, write me a letter, schreib mir einen Brief. And just as a aside here, you are writing a letter, that's the direct object, so it's accusative. So der to den, and for indefinite articles such as ein, it becomes einen. And one other note, since I'm a German teacher, make sure when you're writing that you capitalize all nouns in German. Okay, tell me the truth. Sag mir die Wahrheit. Normally, du sagst. I drop the st and I have just the command form. Sag mir die Wahrheit. Mach es. Bring mir das Buch. And you can also form negatives by throwing in nicht. Frag mich nicht. Okay. For irregular verbs, especially verbs that end in a td or ig, or that end in a consonant followed by an m or n, you're going to add an e to the command form or imperative form of the verb. And you may even, some people call it the stem of the verb. So if you have a verb like warten, we're going to say warte auf mich. And that's one thing to note for you English speakers especially. In English we say wait for me, but in German it's wait on me. And it's in English we can say wait on me or wait for me, and it means the same thing. But it's wrong to say in German warte für mich. That would be an Englishism of the German language there. Okay, so work faster. Arbeite schneller. Answer me, antworte mir. And antworten here is a dative verb. That's why we're using mir. And if you don't know what a dative verb is, you want to make sure you look at our video on our website about that. Okay, breathe slower. Atme langsam. Or breathe slow. Slower would be langsamer. Okay, so for irregular verbs, the imperative forms retain their strong verb changes if the change is from an e to an I or an IE. Any others are not retained or not kept. And let me give you an example of one that's not kept. For example, with the verb fahren, to drive or to ride. If you ride or you drive is du fährst with umlauts over the A. But when you form the command out of that, those umlauts are not kept. Fahr langsamer, which is drive slower. So in these examples, however, we're dealing with verbs that have a stem change, vowel change from an E to an I or IE. So for example, lesen, du liest, that becomes lies mir das Buch. Sehen, du siehst, sieh das, or sieh das mal an. Vergessen becomes vergisst, so vergiss es oder vergiss das. Essen becomes isst, so it's iss and nicht so schnell. Und geben becomes du gibst, which becomes gib mir das. Helfen, hilfst, which becomes hilf mir. And this is another dative verb, so you'll never hear, for example, hilf mich. That would be incorrect. You want to use the dative pronoun with helfen and with all the other dative verbs. Okay, worth paying attention to in their own category here are haben, sein, werden, and wissen. Haben, of course, means to have, so if you want to say have something, like have patience, hab Geduld. To be or is sein, but to be the command is just sei nett, which incidentally is also the subjunctive one form. But that's another video, and you need to look at our videos over the subjunctive to see where that plays in. Werden, werde besser. Wisse die Antwort. So werden and wissen are going to retain these e's, are going to have these e's on it. Okay, for separable prefix verbs, of which there are a number in German, you're still going to separate the prefix from the verb. So for the verb aufmachen, I'm going to form my command form from the machen part of the verb, which becomes mach, and I'm going to separate my prefix at the end, just like we do when we're using separable prefix verbs in the present tense. Mach das Buch auf, mach das Licht aus, oder hör gut zu, hör mich zu. Listen good, listen would be, and by the way, just so you know, there's the verb hören and there's zuhören. Hören is to hear, and zuhören would be more accurately translated as listen to. Okay, you can also give commands to a group of people, and it's very simple to form this command. It's just the regular conjugation that we would use in the present tense with ihr, and say, geht weg, if I was saying that to a group of people, or lasst mich allein, kommt her, to a group of people. And if I wanted to include myself and give a command to myself and another group of other people all together, in English we do this by saying let's, meaning me and whoever else is here. In German you can do it one way is with wir, so you can say trinken wir, and it's very easy. It's just kind of reversing the order of what it would look like in a sentence. Like, for example, if you said we drink beer, wir trinken Bier, and we just turn around and say trinken wir, fahren wir, gehen wir. Okay. If you are giving a command and you want to be formal, and you want to address someone, you're giving a command to people you don't know, you would say nehmen Sie. It's pretty easy. You just take the pronoun Sie and stick it behind the infinitive form of the verb. Nehmen Sie es, lesen Sie es, kommen Sie mit mir. And another way to say let's in German is with the verb lassen. So for example, you can say lass uns gehen, let us go. And it's saying, it's in English we don't say normally let us go, we just make a contraction and say let's go. In German you still have that uns present in its entirety, so it's not, so it's lass uns gehen. Let us dance is lass uns tanzen. Let's go shopping, lass uns einkaufen gehen. Or let's play, lass uns spielen. Okay, Leute, das war's. Ich danke euch für das Zuschauen und schönen Tag noch. Auf Wiedersehen.